Hi everyone, all my dear students. I hope you all are doing good. I'm Amit Ajmani, your educator, and I welcome you all to Sri Jendra Rank Zone classes. Now, students, in the previous class, we have discussed about the various types of reports, the newspaper reports, the magazine reports, and the official reports, in which we studied about the financial report. In today's class, we are going to end up this chapter. And first of all, we will be discussing about a formal report. Now, this is a formal report which is basically from a particular research officer belonging to the Ministry of Environment, and he is writing this report to the Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Environment. So, let us see how exactly a formal report is written. First of all, we will write the title or the heading. The heading is Ganga River Cleaning Project. So, one particular officer is submitting his report after doing some research and whatever has been done as far as this particular River Cleaning Project is concerned. Now, in this report, first of all, after writing the heading, we will leave a space and we will write to whom is this report subjected to Mr. Sunil Gupta. Who is he? He is the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Environment. Then, who is writing this report? This report is from Mr. Nilesh Upadhyay. Who is Mr. Nilesh? Research Officer, Ministry of Environment. Then we will write the date, that is 15th April 2017, and the subject. Now, right from the format itself, we can very well relate that this is a way to formal report submitted in the government office. The subject is cleaning the Ganga River. Fine. Now, in a very formal way, first of all, acknowledgements are given by Mr. Nilesh. What he's saying is, I am deeply grateful to all the people who extended their invaluable help and support in the research and writing of the report. I wish to especially thank Mr. Sushil Dhar, Mr. Premnath Singh, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, and Mr. Pramod Bansal. So, in acknowledgements, the report writer is expressing her gratitude towards lot many people in general, and he is specifying 3 or 4 specific names. Then will be the contents part. In the contents, various things need to be included. What are these? First of all, the introduction, then the causes, then the effects, and if there are any solutions, what exactly is the conclusion drawn, and for getting the resources we need to specify the bibliography. So these will be the various contents of a formal report. Let us see how we'll be doing it. After writing the bibliography, a summary is provided for you. Let us try to understand each and everything in detail. In summary, what writer has written? Our national river Ganga remains one of the most polluted in the world, denying vast populations of their rights to clean water. The problems associated with pollution of Ganga are numerous. It has multiple causes related to the issue. The contamination of the water affects humans, flora and fauna, as well as the ecology of the areas along with the river. However, there are solutions and remedies which can be implemented to save the dying river. So you see, in the summary, we have in the shortened form What all we have included? We have included the introduction, then the problems, then the causes, right? Then the effects and solutions. Now we'll be specifying all these in detail. First of all, the introduction part. The river Ganga is often referred to as the dying river due to its continuing pollution for decades. This reports attempts to state the current situation and the damage to the environment and ecosystem being caused by pollution of the river. Several solutions to clean the river have been suggested to restore the river to its pristine state. So this is the introduction of the report. Now, what are the various causes which have contributed to so much of degradation and pollution of the river? It has been specified under the heading causes. Now, these are the various causes being specified. Number one is the over exploitation. Elaborating a bit, exploitation of Ganga's waters have rendered long stretches of the river completely dry for much of the year. Almost 80% of the water is diverted for agricultural purposes. Another reason is dumping of sewage waste accounts for 80% of pollution in the Ganga river. Third cause of the pollution of Ganga river is discarding the industrial waste. The toxic industrial effluents dumped into the river accounts for 20% of the pollution. Yet another cause is the agricultural pollution. Water intensive farming and runoff from inorganic farms, including the dangerous chemicals like DDT and HDH, add to the pollution. Another reason specified is the disposal of solid waste. Tons of plastic, polythene, images of gods, and other trash are thrown into the Ganga river, choking her waters and blocking existing sewerage systems. Next cause is harvesting electricity. The varied dams built along the Ganga have affected her flow, thus affecting the ecology of the river. Next cause is ecological degradation. The deforestation, encroachment, tourism, and other human activities are damaging the fragile ecosystems the Ganga river supports. Right? So these are the various reasons or the causes which are leading to the pollution or degradation of Ganga river. Now, what are the various effects which are caused because of this pollution or degradation? The first is spread of disease. Drinking polluted water can cause cholera or typhoid infections along with diarrhea. Second effect of such hard pollution is affects body organs. The consumption of highly contaminated water can cause injury to the heart and kidneys. Third effect is harms the food chain. The toxins within water can harm aquatic organisms, thus breaking a link in the food chain. Yet another effect is causes algae in water. The waste matter causes algae to in a water source. Bacteria feeds off the algae, decreasing the amount of oxygen in the water. There is a technical term for it which is called eutrophication. Now this decreased oxygen causes harm to other organisms living in the water because they are dependent on this dissolved oxygen for their body respiration processes. Next effect is flooding. The erosion of soil into waterways causes flooding especially with heavy rainfall. And last is harms animals. Birds that get into oil contaminated water die from exposure to cold water and air due to feather damage. Other animals are affected when they eat dead fish in contaminated streams. The effects of water pollution are not always immediate. However, water pollution has a huge impact on our lives. With knowledge, consideration, and preparation, water pollution can be decreased. It does not take much effort, just a little thought. So, first of all, we have given the introduction. Then we have discussed all the various causes which, as per the research, the writer has observed, and what are the various harmful effects. Now, the next subheading is solutions. What are the various solutions, various steps that can be taken to avoid the worsening situation? Let us see one by one. There are several steps that can be taken to help prevent water pollution from getting worse. Number one is take steps to conserve soil. It results in conserving water and water life. Planting the vegetative covers, strict erosion management, and implementing beneficial farming methods are just a few of the many possible approaches to soil conservation. Next step for solution is restore ecological flows at every point along the Ganga's course. Right? By this, the water pollution can be restored and sorted out. Next step that we can take is prevent and curtail all wastewater starting with sewage and industrial waste from mixing with the river. Install sewage and effluent treatment plants so that all the sewage should not go directly into the river. It should be treated before just sending it, right? So that it may cause less pollution. Next possible solution is promote massive water conservation and water resource management, including rainwater harvesting schemes, so that the pressure on the water obtained from the river for other purposes like agriculture, etc., they may be reduced. Next solution is to involve stakeholders in all ways to clean the river so that the existing polluted river can be cleaned off. Next possible solution given is implement policies and plans that connect state and local bodies, addressing their challenges and encouraging training and capacity building programs. This is also one of the important steps that could possibly be taken. And last but not the least is to start mass awareness campaigns and media based water eco consciousness campaigns. Why? Because that will get people to not only stop pollution but to also become an active part of the solution. So these are a few possible solution, a few possible steps that can be taken on a personal level or on the government level in order to stop polluting the river further. After giving the solutions, now the next step is the conclusion part. What is the conclusion? Cleaning the Ganga river is feasible and possible project. It's not impossible, it is possible, it is feasible, but it requires strict implementation of policies formulated by the government. Number one. Number two, it requires involvement of all the stakeholders. And number three is it requires involving general population at every level in the effort to reach the goal of having an uncontaminated river. So all the solutions have been concluded here. And for mentioning all these things, the bibliography or the references, there are a few given. Just for the sake of example, you are reading it because number one, you don't know all these references. Number two, you can't even relate from other books because you don't know on which topic you are going to write, but you can take an idea. Let us see how. Conway, Cameron, 2015 923. The Ganges River is dying under the weight of modern India. Newsweek, retrieved 11th April 2017. This is one reference. Ganga receives 2900 million liters of sewage daily. This is through this website www.hindustantimes.com, retrieved 14th May 2015. The Water Hub, retrieved in 14th May 2015. A sacred river endangered by global warming. This was an article probably on 17 June 2007. Wall Ellen E. 2012, A World of Rivers, Environmental Change on 10 of the World's Great Rivers, Chicago, University of Chicago Press, and Ganga Yamuna Banks Cleaned, 12th November 2013. So these are the various references that are being mentioned. Now from these references, we can take an idea. Number one, we have to take the help of some particular newspaper website and the information or the article is retrieved on a particular date. Then we can use the headlines related to the topic as per any Newsweek magazine. Then we can also write any of the heading, right, without giving any reference. Then from any particular university's press, we can take a particular heading of the particular topic. So these four things you can use anywhere. Got it? So this is a kind of bibliography or the reference given, and this is all our formal report, right? So this is all about the various types of reports. What all we have studied? We have studied the newspaper reports. We have taken examples of the magazine reports. Then we have discussed about the official reports, in which in the previous class we did a financial report of a company, and today we have taken a formal report, right? Now based on these, we are given some practice questions. Let us see what type of reports are given to us for the practice purpose. Let us try to understand and discuss one by one each of them. The first practice question given to us in the book is, your institute, Global Business School, organized a seminar on profitable business practices in the next decade. So this is a seminar which was organized by your institute, Global Business School. Write a report on the seminar for your institute's monthly newsletter in about 150 to 200 words. The hint given to us in the question is, research how a seminar is conducted and what are profitable business practices, right? So because this is what the topic is, profitable business practices in the next decade. Now, since this report is to be written for the institute's monthly newsletter, that is why the very first thing that becomes quite clear and obvious to us is the format that we'll be using will be of that of a magazine report. Clear? We won't be writing any date or time in this. Fine, just like newspaper reports. Now let us see what all things you should include while writing this type of report. Some hints are given to us based on which we can elaborate. First of all, we need to mention the topic. The topic is given to us, the profitable business practices in the next decade. What was the venue? Since it was organized by your college or institute, you can take the venue as your institute's auditorium or any particular auditorium. Then number of speakers, which should not be more than 5, which were present at seminar. We need to specify the designations of speakers who all spoke, right? And now because the topic is related to profitable business practices, so we can relate that the speakers must be from business background or they must be analysts. Fine. So we can just imagine all the necessary other details. State the designated audience, give synopsis to each speaker's content, who came and what was the net crux of what he spoke, right? Now you can divide the various points as per the thought process or the speeches of the various speakers. For example, speaker number 1, speaker number 2, speaker number 3, speaker number 4, speaker number 5. You can just relate the various points. What are these? For example, speaker number 1 highlights the need for remote offices, majority of jobs completed by employees based in far off places, communication technology makes it possible to have face to face meetings without being physically present. So this is one of the profitable strategies, work from home. And in remote offices, you can approach and target the people who are living there. Secondly, when you are opening remote offices, then in that case, the cost factor also reduces a lot. So you can highlight that. Second, possible profitable thing is better meetings, organizing and structure meetings for productive outcomes. Use digital note-making software, online calendars, and wide range of communication tools. Now we are talking more of digital, more of online, more of communication technology because we are talking about the next decade. And here also in our present time, we have seen how technological advancement has shown a boom. The best example is you and me right now, who are actually doing this thing just through this increased and enhanced communication technology. And we are taking the classes online, we are taking the classes digitally, making utilization of the various meeting platforms. Clear? Next possibility or a source can be use of big data. No business can survive without it. So the data is important nowadays. It is all about the data. It is all about the target audience. You need to get the data of the people whom you want to target and you need to work upon it. Fine. Now one of the speakers highlighted the personalization of marketing and advertising campaigns. So these kind of campaigns should be taken care of, in which the marketing and advertising is done in a personalized one-to-one way so that the right content and the right ads can be delivered to the individuals who are there in your audience. Now one of the speakers have highlighted about adapting to rapidly changing consumer needs. Adapt business practices at a moment's notice. Be far-sighted. Try to foresee. Try to relate in advance what is the trend, how it is going to change in the near future, and try to prepare yourself according to that. Then only you can get a profitable business. Then only you can sustain and survive, and you can learn how to cater to the needs of your customers, which are changing, of course, with times, right? Then you can also relate the question answer session with the audience. Fine. There must be some questions from the audience. They were taken up. You can highlight a few questions also if you want. And finally, vote of thanks by the organizer to the various participants, the audience, as well as the speakers. So this is how our report should look. Clear regarding this seminar. I hope now with all these hints and all these points, you should be able to elaborate and make a report out of it. Let us see the next example. Now in this, what we are being told are, you are the cultural society president of your college. The principal of your college, Mr. Subhash Kapoor, feels that in the increasingly westernized world, the students should not lose touch with their culture and values. He has asked you to suggest ways and means to familiarize the students with the great aspects of Indian culture. So you have to prepare a report. The word limit given to us is 150 to 200 words, and we have to prepare a report for the principal suggesting the areas that could be covered and the ways and means that can be introduced into college life. And the hint given to us is, you need to select the areas and methods that appeal to the youngsters. So this is a report that we need to write. Now let us see how we should write it. Now this is a report which you are actually submitting it to the principal. So you need to write and use the format of a formal report that we have just done in today's class itself only. Now in this report, you can include various points. What are these? Let us try to understand one by one. Firstly, state the problem. The problem is students are unfamiliar with the Indian art forms, because technically all the students, whether it is you or anybody else, in generalized terms, if we say, only theoretical knowledge is being provided, and this is a fact which at times we complain about also. No practical approach is followed. Just in the classrooms with the books and with the contents, everything is provided just and just theoretically. You people are not exposed to various museums or the art galleries where you can actually relate and you can see our Indian culture, our Indian art, our artisans, the creativity, the thought process, and that is the main problem. Then you can include the various areas which will grab the attention of the students, like dance, music, drama, painting. All these things are related to our culture. There are various classical dance forms in which many of the students are or may be interested. The music in various forms, it can appeal to the youngsters. Drama is a very attractive field. Painting, once again, it relates to the creativity of the students, and many people, many students have the inborn talent in various fields, but we are not able to nurture, we are not able to motivate the students and encourage them to excel in those fields. Today, time is changing, but still, the cultural and the traditional mindset of the students, as well as mostly the parents, that is just and just to score marks academically. And that is the main reason why we are not able to relate and to adapt according to our culture or to implement it. So these are the various areas, and for that we need to give various suggestions. We can include all these things as a part of the curriculum or extra activities. We can take the students on a weekly or a fortnightly basis or even a monthly basis to various such places where they can connect to the traditional Indian culture things, right? And this is what are the suggestions. Number one, we can expose the students to the various fine art forms of India by the organization of cultural programs, just opposing the modern with the traditional. We can hold various exhibitions on different types of paintings. We can organize various competitions. We can make a few things as a part of the extra activities in the houses, right? So these are all the suggestions that we can include. And lastly, we need to give the concluding statement. And the concluding statement is always in a very positive tone with a conditional clause. Like, Indian youngsters can also once again be associated and brought into the traditional cultural values if the above mentioned suggestions are followed and implemented. Clear? So this will be a kind of report that we may write when it comes to our topic is concerned. Okay? Okay. Let us see the next question. Now in this question, what the examiner is saying is, you are Mr. Sunil Kaushik, the administrator of Gyan Jyoti Institute. Certain areas of the infrastructure of your institute need to be restructured and revamped. You have been asked to prepare a report on the matter for the managing committee of the institute. Because it is to the managing committee, once again we need to relate that it is a formal report. So accordingly, we will be using the format of a formal report. And in this report, what Mr. Sunil Kaushik has to state? Stating the specific buildings that need facelift and the areas that need attention. For example, furniture or auditorium or cafeteria. Use the formal report format. So he has specified in the question. Otherwise also, we already had assumed the format to be used based on who is going to write the report and for whom the report is meant. So, in this particular report, Mr. Sunil Kaushik, who is the administrator of Gyan Jyoti Institute, is giving a report to the management committee regarding the infrastructure which needs to be restructured and revamped, right? The various buildings that need facelift and the areas that need attention. So let us see how we are going to write this report. Let us try to understand the content points. Firstly, we are being asked to use the formal report format, which we already have studied. Next, we have to state the issue under consideration. And the issue is that the Gyan Jyoti Institute is having some infrastructural problems. There may be something for the past few years which have not been improved or tended, and that is why it is degenerated, and that is why it needs improvement. So we need to state the issue. After that, we need to identify, as per what is mentioned in the question, we need to identify the buildings that need facelift. Because in a particular institute or a particular college, there are various blocks. right? So accordingly, we can relate. For example, administrative block that needs facelift because it has been obsolete or more requirement is there, whether it is the office staff sitting or anything which is related to the installation of new equipment. Then school of architecture building, probably there you need certain new implements and tools and equipment in order to make sure that the students get advantage. And the engineering college, there also you need certain new things, fine, for the betterment of the students because they can help as a technical aid in teaching, fine. Next, common things are all need whitewashing and painting. Then we need to focus on certain areas like the administrative block. This is just an example that is being given, right? You have to just take an idea. It is not that you have to just do this thing only and you can't write anything else. It's not like that. Some furniture needs replacement. Now, what kind of furniture you can also specify? Maybe it is the students' desks or the teachers' tables or the teachers' chairs or the boards. They can also be digitalized rather than using the old-fashioned chalkboard boards. Then we may also include the need for the almirahs, right, for the keeping of various things in the classrooms by the teachers for safety also, fine. The windows, they may also need some kind of improvement, or the fans, anything. Next, school of architecture building, over there you are specifying that the washrooms need to be redone, fine. There are certain problems with the washroom which you can specify. In the another block, that is the engineering college, the labs require remodeling and the latest equipment. In the labs, you require to change certain things, adjustments, sitting positions. The labs need to be refurbished. Clear? So all these things are under the various areas that require attention or restructuring. Then you can also mention the time which is required to complete the work. Fine, because these things they are to be done on a large level. Of course they are time consuming, no doubt. So the time required and when they should start, the best time to start it, so that it should be completed before the next session or something like that. And after mentioning all these, you can write the concluding statement in which you need to highlight the various threats if this restructuring is not done and the various advantages once this restructuring is done. Clear? So this will be our concluding statement and this will be our formal report from the administrator to the managing committee about the changes in the infrastructure required. Clear? Let us take one more example. You are Reena Singh, a reporter of the Times of India. Now, Times of India, because it is mentioned before reading the question, we know that it is a newspaper report. What it is about, let us see. Write a report on a fire in a slum cluster in Seelampuri. The word limit is 150 to 200 words. Clear? So, we'll be following the format of the newspaper reports. The headings first, then by Reena Singh. Then we have to mention the place, Seelampuri, date, and then we'll start up with the report. Let us see what all points we can include in this. We'll be using, of course, the newspaper format. Then we'll be writing an opening statement. Fire destroying entire slum. Property worth crores gutted in fire. Two burnt alive in a fire in Seelampuri. These kinds of opening statement you can give. Then we need to relate the cause of this fire. The cause may be a fire short circuit, right? Or the cause still unknown, what actually led to this fire. You need to specify the time fire started, and for that you can make a base. Like at around 5 in the evening, a huge cloud of smoke was seen rising from the left corner of the slums. Fine, this kind of thing. Then you need to explain the rapid spread due to the inflammable materials used to build the hutments. The fire spread rapidly because of the building material, or because of junk shops, or because of plastic shops, whatever. Quite importantly, we need to explain the situation over there at that particular point in time. There was a chaos all over. The people were running helter skelter. They were running here and there. They were trying to put out the fire, pouring buckets of water, right? But only a strong wind worsened the situation. The wind was blowing, due to which the fire spread rapidly, right? You can relate that too. Now, after that, we have to explain the impact of the fire and the sufferings caused due to it. Also, the casualties. For example, 500 families lost all their belongings, no roof over their head in this inclement weather. 10 people sustained burn injuries, others lucky to escape, and people seeking help or compensation from government. You can also add a lot many things other than this. For example, if the fire is in slum area and the people are rendered homeless, a stopgap arrangement means a temporary arrangement was made in the nearby government school just for their stay at night. Property worth crores was gutted. We can also say that fortunately there was no loss of human life, or unfortunately two people died in the mishap. You may also include the fire brigade. Someone gave an urgent call to the fire brigade, and it took about 2 hours for three fire brigades to control or to completely put out the fire. You can also add at the end that the local MLA visited the area and he assured the residents to rehabilitate the area soon, right? Or an inquiry has been set up. You can also relate that people were crying their hearts out. Fine. So these are the things that we are going to include in our fire report. Clear? Let's see. One more example is given to us. You are sports reporter Ajay Singh. Write a report on the one-day cricket match between Australia and India at Melbourne in about 150 to 200 words. Now, we are a reporter, so it simply means that we are writing this newspaper report. So, we need to use the format of a newspaper report. Had it been that write a report on one-day cricket match between ABC Public School and XYZ Public School, then probably this would have been a magazine report which was to be written for any of these schools' magazine. Then we would have followed the magazine report format. Clear? Now, how to start? First of all, we need to relate and state the name of tournament or the series. Then we have to make a base telling the people about what was being organized. It was a one-day cricket match between whom? Between Australia and India, where at Melbourne Cricket Ground MCG. Fine. Then just another base that it was an exciting match with nail-biting finish. Now, how it was exciting and how did it finish? For that, we will be explaining the details of the match right from the beginning. For example, to start with, mention who won the toss and took the decision of batting first or fielding first. Right? The toss took place and the Indian captain, you can name anyone, Dhoni or Virat Kohli, anyone. They actually had the toss, he won the toss and decided to field first. Who came to play first from the batting side? Then initial overs you need to describe. There are two options that you need to take care of and consider right from the beginning. How exactly you want it to be portrayed. If you want Australia to bat first, in that case you can or you should make a contrast regarding it. Means in the initial 10 overs they batted very nicely, losing no wicket at all and scoring at a very high rate. And after that things all of a sudden changed when some other bowler came and some quick wickets were taken by the splendid and superb fielding or any player, right? Then one or two players they would have performed exceptionally well, whether it is in the batting or bowling or fielding. In the batting side also you can relate if any player had the century or the half century. So we need to relate the performance of the key players in both the teams, whether it is bowling side, batting side, right? What was the target set, who chased, how they started. They lost early wickets, but after that, on the third or fourth run number, the player who came, he just had a half century, or he had a quick 50 or a quick 100, right? And then you have to come to the end where you have to actually explain how many runs required in the last over, and then who won the match and what was the reason for victory of the winning team, right? So accordingly you can increase the heartbeat of the audiences, the spectators there. On the last ball 2 runs were required and blah blah, you can write that thing also. Then the bowling performances by the winning team or the batting performances by the winning team, you can relate that. After that, who was the man of the match of this particular match between Australia and India and why? So, XYZ anyone got the man of the match award because of his unbeatable 130 runs, or ABC was declared the man of the match because of his exceptional bowling performance of taking 4 wickets in his 10 overs, giving only 20 runs, right? So this is what exactly a report of a cricket match for the newspaper. This is how we can write or we should write. Got it? So these are a few examples of all the reports. We have considered newspaper report also, magazine report also. We have considered the formal reports, official reports also. Fine. So you need to practice all these types of reports. You need to specifically relate their formats and how exactly and what exactly you are going to include in your reports. Got it? So after doing many solved examples and after taking these unsolved examples, considering the key points that will be included in these reports, I hope that all of you must be having some exact idea about how reports need to be written. But of course, it comes under writing skills, and for writing skills, practicing is must. Just by reading 3, 4, 5, 6 reports is not some kind of guarantee or some kind of surety that now you have understood everything and you don't need to read anything else. Not like that at all. You need to make sure that wherever you get some solved examples of whatever type of reports, please go through them. Article writing, report writing These are such things which can come on any topic from anywhere. So the more you read, the better you will be in both these topics, articles as well as report writing. And in reports, the format is very important to consider, because if you are making some mistake in the format, then in that case you are inviting your examiner to simply cut your marks. So you need to make sure that after reading the question, what type of report you are supposed to write. Got it? So time to end the class. I hope whatever we have studied today, you all are able to relate, and you will be practicing it in order to get more confidence. And we'll meet up in the next class with the next topic. So thank you so much guys for being with me, and have a great day. Goodbye everyone.